forest, thick and hardened, told the wind it'd never wear me down. Sent my branches high for sunlight, called it reaching, called it room I used to crown. Every root I drove down deeper, every thorn I sharpened sharper, guarding ground I never lost. Then a stillness moved beneath me, not a storm, not a season turning, just the quiet kind of cost. Asking why I fought for light when light was never something I was starving of, just something I refused. Asking what I thought I'd lose if I let go of all the garden, let the forest floor be used. Something in the bark remembers, long before the mind can say. Every ring was already turning, long before I found my way. I keep growing long after the cutting, I keep rooting long after the fall. Every ring remembers the weather, every scar was never a wall. I don't stand because nothing touches me, I stand because I let it pass through. Every how to grow. I choked the saplings near me, called it thin and called it strength when it was only room for fear. Fought the falling of my own leaves every autumn like the season was a thief and not a gift each year. Hoarded every drop of rain like drought was always coming, like the sky owed me the storm. Turns out the thing I feared was withering was only ever winter, teaching roots to hold and warm. All that guarding, all that choking kept the canopy so dense no other light could ever enter. Turns out the barren months I dreaded were the only way I'd ever reach the deep and steady center. Something in the roots was patient, long before the fear took hold. Every season already knew me better than the story I was told. I keep growing long after the cutting, I keep rooting long after the fall. Every ring remembers the weather, every scar was never a wall. I don't stand because nothing touched me, I stand because I let it pass through. Every season that tried to break me just taught me how to grow. Every season spent defending left its mark in narrow rings, left its mark within my grain. Every inch of shade I hoarded from my neighbors cost me something I could not regain. Traded stillness for the thickening, traded roots for reaching branches, cold the hoarding wisdom. Lost the feel of soar beneath me while I fought for every inch of sky I thought was my dominion. The war I fought was never seasons, never drought, never the frost that comes each turning. It was quiet, it was patient, it was everything the guarding cost, everything worth learning. What the frost was always teaching wasn't punishment, wasn't cost. It was the oldest kind of knowing that nothing here was ever lost. I keep growing long after the cutting, I keep rooting long after the fall. Every ring remembers the weather, every scar was never a wall. I don't stand because nothing touched me, I stand because I let it pass through. Every season that tried to break me just taught me how to grow. Turns out the frost that stripped my branches was only ever teaching me to rest. Turns out the dark I fought so hard against was the very soil where I grew my best. What I lost was never taken, it was shed finally like the leaves I used to keep. Not the dying I had feared so long, but the necessary sleep, not defeat. turning not a hollow but a hush. And surrender to the winter, something settled into trust. The rings don't show a single winner, just the seasons layered kept. Every scar became a marker, every fall in how I grew. Nothing here was ever conquered, nothing here was ever lost, just a forest passing seasons through. Long after it forgot the cost, I keep growing long after the cutting. I keep rooting long after the fall. Every rain remembers the weather, every scar was never a wall. I don't stand because nothing touched me, I stand because I let it pass through. Every season that tried to break me just taught